And I can tell by kind of how knobby that looks there. Yes, we indeed did get stratification. We've got individual cloves going on there. What's up, Lazy Dog fam? Hope all you are having a wonderful day. It is Sunday, May 26th here in South Georgia, and I think it's finally time to harvest our garlic after being put in the ground all the way back last November. So I'll show you the 3 different types of garlic we've got growing. We'll talk about when to harvest each, the signs you'll need to look for. We'll harvest it, see how we did, and then I'll show you how we store it under our barn there. So we planted 3 types of garlic last fall, all from seed stock we had saved from previous year's harvest. We've got a decent amount of elephant garlic right here. We've got some Spanish Roja hardneck garlic right here. And then we've got some Island Star softneck garlic in this raised bed. So for us down here, garlic is in the ground a long time. If we think November all the way into the following May, we're looking at 7 months that the garlic is in the ground growing. So it's quite the investment of time to grow garlic, but once you get your own seed stock going, you just replant it year after year, and we haven't bought any garlic cloves in quite a while. So just keep multiplying it year after year. We don't have an awesome grow out every year, but usually decent enough to give us a good seed stock for the following year. Now, I've grown enough garlic down here to know that ours is usually going to be ready to harvest in late May, early June. That can vary by a few weeks every year, but we're getting around that time where it should be ready to pull it off. But depending on the type of garlic you grow, the kind of ready to harvest signs are going to be a little different. So let me walk you through what we're looking for on the elephant garlic, the hardneck garlic, and the softneck garlic. So for the elephant garlic, which is the easiest to grow in my opinion, we first want to look for these scapes or these seed heads. Now that one there hasn't opened up yet, but you can see that purple one right there. That's what they look like once they open up. Once we see those, we want to cut those off. And I did cut the majority of these off, or the boys did. Looks like they may have missed 3 or 4. But once those appear, usually before they even open up, we go through here and cut all those off. So all these plants you see here had scapes. They were cut off, and after we cut the scapes off, we keep watering the garlic, may even keep feeding the garlic, and then we want to start waiting until we see these plants dying back a little bit, kind of yellowing and turning brown. That's about the right time to start pulling it. Now on this hardneck garlic here, it's a similar timeline to what we've got with the elephant garlic over there. We want to wait until those scapes appear, cut those scapes, and then wait till the plants start browning up some. Now these plants here still look pretty nice and green, so I don't think I'm gonna harvest these today. We may find a few down here that have yellowed a decent amount. We may pull those to see what we got, but I'm gonna leave the majority of the hardneck garlic because I haven't even seen a scape yet. And then lastly, on the softneck garlic, we don't get scapes at all. So what we're looking for here is just some nice yellowing and browning of the plants. That tells us it's time. Now you may be wondering, how yellow or how brown do the plants need to be before you pull them? Do you wait till they completely die back, or when they're just a little bit yellow and brown? It's very kind of qualitative measurement there. Well, I found something online that said you want to wait until about 40% of the plant is yellow or brown. So ours are probably at least half yellow or brown now, so I think we're good. Now one more thing to note about this Spanish Roja hardneck garlic here that's still looking pretty good. Like I said, we haven't seen any scapes on this yet, but last year we got a ton of scapes, what they call witch's broom. So you basically get a scape forming from every little clove you have on that bulb down there, and it looks kind of crazy coming out. Haven't seen any of that this year, haven't even seen a single scape, which is kind of odd to me. I expected to see the same thing we saw last year. Now additionally, I was talking to my buddy Matthew up in Athens, and he said his county extension agent up there told him that you shouldn't replant garlic from plants that formed witch's brooms the previous year. Now we did here, all our plants had witch's brooms last year, and we replanted all those cloves. And yeah, we've got some plants that don't look very good at all, about half that row, and that could be why. But we've also got another half of the row that looks really good. So I don't know if that's completely true or not. Now before we pull up some of these plants, let's talk real quick about stratification, because that's what we want to see. When we pull up a garlic plant, on that head there, we want to be able to see individual garlic cloves. We don't want just one big ball of garlic. Now stratification is usually not an issue with elephant garlic down here. We almost always get stratification or the individual cloves on the head. In a bigger spot of elephant garlic like that, I might end up with 5 or 6 just balls of garlic, or what we call pearls, but most of those will stratify every single year. We don't really need cold temperatures for that to happen. But for the soft neck and the hard neck garlic, those don't always stratify down here in a warmer climate. And so as I've explained to you in previous years, what you can do if you want to grow hard neck or soft neck garlic in the deep south, put the cloves in the fridge for 6, 8, 10, even 12 weeks before you plant, and you kind of trick the cloves of going through this cold cycle that you might not normally get outside, and that way you'll get stratification, you'll get individual cloves as opposed to just one big ball of garlic. And I have done that whole fridge storage process with my hard neck and soft neck garlic every year up until this year. So this year I was feeling froggy and I thought I'd take a little chance, so I didn't put hard neck or soft neck cloves in the fridge. They had just been out there underneath the barn on the storage rack. We broke them up, put them in the ground here. So we'll see if that really mattered or not when we pull some here in a minute. So let's start off here with the elephant garlic, since we have more of that than anything else. Then we'll pull the soft neck and then maybe a few of those hard neck garlic stalks there. So I'll just pull this up, shake it off, throw it all in the wheelbarrow there, and we'll see what we got. All right, so we got all that pulled, got us a nice wheelbarrow load full of elephant garlic. This stuff smells amazing. We do have a few runts in there, but you're always gonna have that. Most of these look pretty good. A lot of them look like that right there. Nice big old heads of elephant garlic, and I can tell by kind of how knobby that looks there. Yes, we indeed did get stratification. We've got individual cloves going on there. Now I'm not going to really dive into the whole corm thing, because that's usually not something I worry about, not something I do, but I will briefly mention it. So when you pull your heads of garlic, you may notice these tiny little, look like little bitty garlic cloves. These are called corms. Okay, you can leave those in the soil. You will inevitably have some left in the soil when you pull up your garlic plants, and the ones that are stuck to the head here, you can pluck those off and plant those. But it's going to take 2 years for that to get to this right here. So some people will like to grow their garlic as a perennial, just have it in the same bed in the same spot year after year. They'll leave those corms in the ground and they'll just have a cycle of garlic going all the time. I move mine every year, so I don't ever worry about these little corms, but in case you were wondering what they were and what you can do with them, now you know. All right, now over here to our soft neck garlic. Let's pull this little bed here and see if we got stratification even without putting it in the fridge before planting. And it looks like we did indeed get stratification on most of those. Now, a lot of these heads right here aren't going to win any awards at your local county fair, but they will eat. And it's good to know that we can still get individual cloves without putting them in the fridge beforehand. Just taking them from the barn and sticking them in the ground. And then lastly, even though I don't think it's ready to pull, I'm going to grab a couple of these hard neck stalks here so we can compare them, kind of see where we're at. I'll probably grab 1 or 2 right there from the beginning of the row, those that just look kind of okay, and then I'm going to grab one of these really good looking ones here that we can compare it to. All right, so here's the 2 hard neck plants I pulled, this one from the beginning of the row and this good looking one from the middle of the row. And just by looking at these, I can tell you we messed up by not putting these in the fridge before planting. All we've got is just a big hunk of garlic here, no stratification, no individual cloves. This hunk bigger than that hunk, but no stratification on either of them. Now we can still eat these, but it's not ideal. Ideally, we want to see that stratification. We want to see those individual cloves. This is what I call pearls. Some people like pearls. Not a huge fan of pearls. I'd rather have the smaller pieces of garlic. Can't really replant this. I guess we could, but when we get stratification, we get a lot more seed pieces that we can work with in the following year. So valuable lesson learned there, for me at least. Looks like I can get away with skipping the fridge process for the soft neck. Can't get away with skipping it on the hard neck. If I grow hard neck garlic in the future, I will put it in the fridge probably 10 to 12 weeks before I plant it. But we're still in good shape because we diversified our portfolio and we have plenty of other garlic that did well for us. Now let's get this under the barn and I'll show you how we store it. All right, so here's our storage rack underneath the barn. I built this several years ago, and it has been extremely handy for us. You can see we got some taters down there. I'll come back to those in a minute. Still got some Seminole pumpkins from last year hanging around. Brooklyn actually made some pumpkin muffins the other night with some of these. They're still good, still hanging in there. I have had a few that rotted, but a majority of them are storing pretty well. There's our kind of lackluster onion harvest from earlier this year. And then down here on this level, we've got taters, lots of taters, and still got 2 rows of taters to add to this. I don't know if y'all can see the color real well here. There's our Charlotte taters there. On the back side of those kind of pinkish ones, that's our rose gold. There's our purple Viking right there. And then all those are huckleberry gold. Got a few Baltic rose back there that we got from the raised beds. So probably got too many taters to just put them all on this one rack. We'll probably have to come down here for the rest of our taters that we still have in the ground. Now for the pumpkins and the onions, they usually do just fine sitting right where they are. This is not ideal onion storage. They would store better in a basement somewhere, but I don't have a basement. They store okay right here. For the taters, I can't just leave those exposed like that because there is a little bit of light that gets in here, as you can see there. So I do need to cover these with some black plastic. Let me do that real quick. I'll show you what it looks like. So nothing fancy here. I probably could have done that a little neater than I did just then. I have used just a cheap black tablecloth from the dollar store in the past. Had an old tarp, I cut a piece off it to use that this year. All we're doing is keeping the sunlight from hitting these taters and also keeping them from getting wet when we do get a bad storm and get some mist rolling underneath this barn. Still get some airflow underneath there with the hardware cloth, and this actually works really well for storing taters. I can get these things to store well into the fall just like this. And so now we just need to get all our garlic up there. Now I won't have to cover the garlic like we did the potatoes. I never cover it. It always stores really well for me. I'll probably put some of the elephant garlic up top there. Looks like I left a few heads up there from last year, and then the rest of it should go right here. All right, so we got it all up there. Got our elephant garlic up top, got our soft neck garlic right here, and I'll probably put those hard neck garlic pearls on the other side of the soft neck garlic there. I don't get too particular about how I put this in here. Just want to spread it out a little bit. I don't want bulbs stacked on top of bulbs, so we just spread it out. It's all right if we have bulbs stacked on top of old foliage though. So I hope you enjoyed the video today, and let me know in the comments below about your successes or failures with getting soft neck or hard neck garlic to stratify either with or without the fridge trick. Elephant garlic is easy, but the soft neck and the hard neck is what can give us a little trouble down here in the deep south. And if you want to see what that garlic on our storage rack will look like come November when we replant it again, watch this video right here. When we planted back last November, we'll show you the whole process of breaking apart those cloves and getting them in the ground. So check that out, and we'll see you next time right here at Lazy Dog Farm.